the strong field forms up for the second leg of the Swann Insurance Motorcycle Series over 12 laps. And as they form, news comes that Hikaru Miyagi, injured in the first heat today, has a dislocated shoulder and broken collarbone as well. Peter Clifford, the editor of the very respected international publication Motorcourse, has been in the pits. Peter, what other news do you have?
Well, Rob Phillips, we see number 32 coming to the line on the Action Suzuki. He had overheating problems in the first leg, and that's what caused the smoke. They have ripped off the side of the fairing, stuck the number plates on the back of the seat, and hoping that that will enable the engine to keep a little cooler. The winner of the first leg, Wayne Gardner, he decided to change tyres and has now gone to a softer compound tyre because the hard tyre never really heated up.
Ready to go. Big start from Andrew Johnson, and again Rod Cox blasts down the inside on the Superbike 14.
And again Wayne Gardner's left.
And it's Rod Cox in the lead. Beside him is Michael Dowson. Dowson takes it over.
Johnson into third with Middlemiss in fourth, but Phillips up the inside once more to take fourth from Middlemiss. And there goes Gardner already up to fifth.
Super start from Michael Dowson. Unbelievable from Rod Cox, who took off from the second position, or second row of the grid. Rob Phillips in fourth position behind Andrew Johnson.
And Rob McElnay back in about seventh behind John Pace. McElnay had to put in a new wheel after his first leg crash. It broke the front wheel, it was dented. As Dowson leads Cox, Johnson and Phillips under pressurising the leaders now.
And still it's Dowson, with Cox now slowing down the field behind him. Not much, mind you, but he is slowing them down.
Phillips looking for a way round Johnson. Dowson leads. Cox, Johnson takes second, and Phillips looks to be following him through.
Dowson has 1.3 seconds up on them. Here comes Phillips through.
Phillips takes third.
Worry for Phillips at the start. He was motioning Chris Dowd, the engine builder, to come across to the bike as it formed up on the grid, but Dowd wasn't allowed out by officials. Now Phillips all over Andrew Johnson's bike. Johnson changing gear ratios between sessions.
Gardner up into fifth place.
McElnay back in eighth position.
Dowson not getting away from Johnson and Phillips, with Gardner now hard on Cox's tail. Gardner, the ultra lightweight 500cc Grand Prix Honda, chasing the big V4 water-cooled 1000 of Cox. Dowson leading on the 750 Yamaha.
Gardner, the supreme professional of the Swann Insurance Series in 1984. Ice cool to be able to endure the slow starts he makes.
And ridden out right to the wall by Cox. Only just room for Gardner just to get back on the circuit and save hitting the cones that mark the beginning of the pit lane. And Middlemiss goes past Cox.
Lap time of 1 minute 17.36 seconds on Michael Dowson. Fastest lap in the first race this morning was 1 minute 15.9, shared equally by Wayne Gardner and Rob Phillips.
Gardner in fourth, with his sights set on Phillips, who in turn desperately wants to get past Johnson and on terms with Dowson.
Malcolm Campbell, this Johnson-Phillips thing is really working itself up into a monster duel. And Dowson succumbs to the challenge, and Andrew Johnson takes over the lead on lap 3.
Yes, the big 750 Yamaha gave a big kick there as Dowson tried to get the power on.
It'll be very interesting to see how the Yamaha goes down the straight for speed here, sliding about.
Now look at the sliding about of Rob Phillips as he gets the power down on the Suzuki.
And Johnson changed the internal gear ratios on the 500 Honda between legs there because he felt he couldn't get out of the turns properly. And it looked the way he got past the 750 Yamaha as though that may well have paid dividends.
Well, this is really make or break for Andrew Johnson. He's on 26 points in the series. Wayne Gardner is on 42. Rob McElnay is 27. Johnson has to perform here today in this race to stay in touch in the series. Here are the point scores after 3 rounds with 3 to go. We're at half distance. Wayne Gardner on 42. Look at the race for second place. McElnay 27, Johnson 26, Middlemiss 24. That's why Johnson has to make the break. And there goes Rob Phillips. He's through Michael Dowson. And Gardner right now on Dowson's back wheel. Superb riding from Rob Phillips. Here comes Gardner now up onto Dowson. Dowson has got to give it away. He doesn't. Slams back over the dog leg.
Dowson, another person to make changes between the two races. He had the wrong throttle grip on for the first leg, found he was having to take 2 goes at the throttle, and now has the quick action throttle, which seems perhaps to be causing him a little bit of problems. He can't get out of some of the corners.
Only 1.48 seconds separates Andrew Johnson from Wayne Gardner in 4th position.
I think maybe Dowson's experiencing some tyre problems there, same as Wayne Gardner then. Very hot out there on the track. I think tyre choices would be fairly critical to a good result.
Ambient temperatures here up around the 30 degrees Celsius today, so the track temperature's much more than that.
But Gardner's team, they took the measure of actually putting nitrogen in the rear tyre of Gardner's machine, and he's trying to go inside Dowson.
Can't do it across the bridge, and by backing off, Glenn Middlemiss gets right up onto Gardner's tail. There's Middlemiss on the red bike, right behind Gardner. Superb motorcycle racing. Five laps gone, coming up to half distance. Gardner again ranges up on Dowson, can't do it over the dog leg, now under brakes. There he goes.
Gardner takes 3rd with Dowson 4th, Middlemiss 5th, and Rob McElnay in 6th place.
Andrew Johnson, a 1 minute 16.4 second lap. Gardner looks behind him, make sure that Dowson is back there far enough not to be a challenge in this fast left-hand sweeper. And in fact, Dowson is challenging. Great riding from Dowson on a bike which is old, and although the engine's new, you've got to say the chassis is a bit tired. And there's the leader, Andrew Johnson, behind him, Rob Phillips, the arch rivals of Australian motorcycle racing, locked nose to tail. One on a 2-stroke, one on a 4. Johnson's bike half the capacity of Phillips's.
And Phillips has slowed, he lost ground then. Did he have a big slide coming out the corner, or perhaps there's something wrong with the Action Suzuki? No, it seems to be running okay. He must have just had a momentary problem. And Middlemiss has passed Dowson now.
Johnson out to a 1.33 second lead on Rob Phillips as he comes under. Great challenge from Wayne Gardner. Middlemiss right behind. Gardner now down under Phillips, and no way in the wide world, and Middlemiss follows him through too.
And there's definitely something wrong with Phillips' machine. He's slowed right out now. Almost certainly he'll pull into the pits. The hand goes up and Phillips tours into the pits. A sad end to an absolutely superb ride from Phillips.
John Pace goes through. Lap 6, half distance. When Rob Phillips pulls out, now Wayne Gardner with Middlemiss behind him.
Middlemiss has come right up there, past Dowson.
Middlemiss is proving to be a superb find in this series, as Andrew Johnson looks behind him to see where the field is, and he can ill afford to spend time looking behind him.
I think Glenn's decided really to have a go in this leg. He's pressuring Gardner here.
Well, Middlemiss told us yesterday that he didn't believe he could win the series, but he could certainly prove to everyone in Australia that he is a damn good rider, and he's proving that right now. Won the Australian 500cc championship this year, basically racing against 250s and 350s and even production bikes. But now, in bikes of his own, against bikes of his own capacity, he has proven. Oh, and Gardner almost gone. Gardner almost spat off the model.
in going to a softer tyre, it seems that Gardner has made a mistake, even filling the tyre with nitrogen, which is supposed to be inert and not heat up the same way as air does. It doesn't seem to have worked, and the tyre is surely going away. That's going to cause him a real problem now.
Down comes Dowson. Can he pull out of the slipstream and get him? Yes, he does. Gardner drops back to 4th position. And Gardner now must surely go for points in this race rather than trying to race for the win. There are 4 laps remaining. There's Andrew Johnson. Middlemas in 2nd position. Michael Dowson in 3rd. Wayne Gardner 4th. And there's McElnay now, up onto Gardner's heels. And while the tyres going off might be a drama for Wayne Gardner and a disappointment for him, it's going to make the last round at Surfers Paradise next weekend really something to behold. Oh, and Gardner almost gone again as he comes up to challenge Dowson. Because Gardner, if he drops back on points here, will be well in points, will put the other riders well in points contact with him. McElnay now challenges through the old S, is the bumpiest part of the circuit. Dowson, Gardner, McElnay. McElnay lining himself up for the slingshot down under Blake, but he's too far away.
Gardner ducks into the slipstream of Dowson's 750 Yamaha for the tow down the straight. Pulls out beside him.
Johnson 2.05 seconds in front of Middlemas. These riders 1.62 seconds behind Middlemas.
Dowson very brave on the brakes and kept Gardner away. Middlemas closing on Johnson now.
McElnay down the inside and pulls back behind Gardner. Oh, brave man would have just about gone for it there, Malcolm.
Not into that particular corner. It's a good corner for a brave man to come unstuck on. It tends to go off camber as you turn in, and it's a real front wheel trap, that particular corner.
McElnay, having already been down the road once today, is not about to take a second chance.
Yes, his first crash was a front end lose, so he'd be a little reserved on pushing in front wheel, I'd think.
Middlemas is pulling away from Dowson now.
Middlemas closing on Johnson, only 1.14 seconds behind, then a 2.71 seconds gap back to this dice.
McElnay just sucked into the slipstream inside.
Will Gardner fight back in the next section? No, he doesn't.
Brave of McElnay to pass in almost exactly the same place that he fell off in the first leg, as Middlemas closes on Johnson for the lead, and McElnay is now right on Dowson's tail.
There's the race leader, Andrew Johnson. 2 fourths and a third so far in the Swann Insurance Series, and there's the gap back to Michael Dowson in 3rd position. McElnay tries it on the inside over the bridge as well, and no one does that.
Great riding from Middlemas in 2nd place.
Dowson's the man most likely to come into his own when they get to Surfers Paradise next weekend. The big, wide, sweeping Surfers Paradise track will likely suit the Yamaha TZ750.
Now McElnay, he managed to pass Gardner at the end of the straight on the last lap.
Johnson pulls a 1:16.81, and there's the race for the lead with Glenn Middlemas now right on Andrew Johnson's tail. And on a hot circuit like today, a 16.8 is about as fast as they're going to go, so they're both trying flat chat. 2 laps remaining. Glenn Middlemas going for his first major victory in Australian motorcycle racing and almost throws the model away on exactly the corner that Malcolm Campbell just said was a brave one for a front-end throwaway.
Middlemas with nowhere near the backing that Johnson has, of course. We know it hasn't got the money to buy the tyres and the parts that he would really like. If he has any advantage over Johnson, it's the fact that Middlemas is using an 18-inch front wheel. It's now unfashionable to use an 18-inch front, the 16 being quicker to turn, but over the bumps it's probably that little bit more stable as he closes right up on Johnson, thought about riding around him.
And what a charm series this Swann Insurance Motorcycle Series is. We've never seen a bad race in it in a couple of years of following it. Look at Middlemas now right up on Johnson's tail. Homegrown Suzuki versus the Works Production Honda. On their last lap, 1 lap remaining, and McElnay has disappeared from the tail of Gardner and seems to have dropped out of the motorcycle race.
Where can Middlemas get past Johnson? Would you have any idea where he's going to try it now?
The only place really is if Andrew makes a little bit of a slip or coming down into the last corner before the main straight. Very hard to get past on this section of the track.
And he's
Johnson
gone!
goes down. The back end must have come round, lost the back end and kicked him over the handlebars.
It's a high side.
And that's Johnson's injured ankle. That's an old injury that's been aggravated. And there's the race leader, Glenn Middlemas. Clear on the track. Let's see what happened. We follow Middlemas, and right in front of him is Andrew Johnson. Mal Campbell, what do we see?
Yes, it's high-sided him over the top.
The big black mark on the road there, you can see it slid one way, kicked the other and just spat him over the top.
So lucky that the bike didn't pick him up. Round Castrol corner for the last time. Glenn Middlemas pulls a small, discreet wheelie and heads for the checkered flag to win round 2, leg 4 of the Swann Insurance Motorcycle Series. In second position is Michael Dowson. In third position, Wayne Gardner. In fourth position, John Pace.
Brilliant ride from a virtually unsponsored underdog. I think it'll put a lot of energy into a lot of fans. They'll be right behind him with that ride, I'd say.
And in round 2, heat 2 of the Swann Insurance Motorcycle Series at Oran Park, going to surface next weekend, Glenn Middlemas wins from Michael Dowson with Wayne Gardner in third position.